Alright, and Quake 1, immediately jumping into Quake 2. One thing I actually forgot to mention about Quake 1 due to time constraints was Quake 1 has a multiplayer, but it's only 2-player. What Quake 4 does is it actually has 4-player with a graphical enhancement from the expansion pack. Quake 1 has a much more of a dingy look, like it's much more pixelated, and this has a lot more polygons. This is like a... If you played Quake 1 and you played Quake 2, like on the PC, for example, if you were back around then that played PC games, Quake 2 has a lot more polygons than Quake 1 does, but it also has a lot of particle effects that look kind of funky, at least in today's time, where they're very like spray paint looking, very spray painty. I don't know if you have any idea what a particle effect is, for some of you out there, but if you've played Quake 2 and you fired these, the pistol that you automatically get that has infinite ammo, that's what I'm talking about. Those red and orange and yellow little spray paint looking things, that's the particle effect. This game does a hilarious job with those, and the multiplayer is really not that bad. A friend and I were playing it a couple months ago, and it really was kind of fun for a while. The only problem is being on the 64 controller. Most of the weapons require a lot of accuracy, main one being the railgun. So it was really hard to try and get a rail kill if you're running around the room all crazy. But I mean, it's a pretty cool game. Unfortunately, I think it is a modified version of the PC as far as like the actual playing through the story mode. I think it's kind of switched around and stuff in levels. But unfortunately, this game has pretty much no music. I think Quake 1 has some ambience, maybe. I can't remember right now. I haven't played it for a few months. But Quake 2 has pretty much no music. There is no ambience in the game. The only song I can find is the main menu song, which is just dom 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 dom, and that's pretty much it. It's like a 10-second loop, and I mean it's a cool song, but I don't know. Quake 2 is pretty cool. If you can get it, I got mine. I got this one for I think $1 or $2. And then Quake 1 for about $1 or $2. I got them online, so of course the shipping was more than the game was. But if you can find it at like a store or a garage sale or something for really cheap, like $1, go ahead and find it, or go ahead and get it. Cause I mean, even if you don't like the game, it's still cool to look at and see where like the not so popular shooters were, from their technical standpoints on the N64. So if you find it, get it. Revolt. Oh, dude. My friend and I love this game. We would always go rent. We would double rent. We always got our parents to rent us 2 games. And our favorite duo to get was StarCraft 64 and Revolt. Which eventually what happened would be we would play StarCraft 64 for like 2 or 3 hours, which really was only about 30-45 minutes of real gameplay due to all the slowdown in the game. But we would play StarCraft 64 for like 2 or 3 hours, and we'd lose, get horribly pissed, and then we'd switch over to Revolt and have a freaking blast. If you can't really tell it, there's an RC car here, and that's a real car. It's pretty much RC racing. It was also on, it has 3 different versions. There's a PlayStation, the N64, and the Dreamcast. I'd say the quality goes up like that. You got PlayStation, then N64, then Dreamcast. PlayStation has a difficult time running this game. Very difficult time. It has a whole lot of slowdown. Graphics don't look very good. The N64 one it does a better job with the graphics a little bit. The slowdown isn't as bad, but it still does slow down at times. And I think the control's a bit too touchy. There's a whole bunch of cars. There's like 20 or 30 vehicles in the game, and there's like 24 or something. And they all handle pretty differently, and they all have different stats, and each of them actually handles pretty differently. So maybe I just haven't found exactly the car that I like to drive, but I burned it for the Dreamcast, and I definitely like the Dreamcast version the best. The analog control, as far as the joystick, I feel is much better than the N64 one is, and the analog triggers, as I've been saying, gives me a much better control over the cars themselves. But back when we were about 12 or 13, Revolt was the shit. We love this game. And I called my friend up last year after I purchased it online and was like, dude, I got Revolt. He was like, okay, sweet. Because I already bought it on PlayStation. We played it on there and we were like, this isn't Revolt at all. We're going to stop playing this. So I took it to his house and we only played it for maybe 5 minutes or so. And he was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it anymore. And I was like, me neither. Damn. But I would definitely, I want to buy this for Dreamcast. And I played it in the arcade. I didn't know there was an arcade one. I played it in the arcade in August. And holy crap, it's fun. It's a really fun arcade game. So if you see this anywhere, get it. Unless it's the PlayStation version. 64 one, Dreamcast, I'd say get it. If you see it in the arcade, you know, pop a buck in. It'd be worth it. So we got Robotron 64.